My wife cheated with her gym trainer and planned to take everything in our divorce. Now she's lost her baby, career, and our family forever. Sarah, 45F, and I, 47M, have been wed for 22 years. We were married shortly after graduating from college, having met through mutual acquaintances. My first and only committed relationship was with Sarah. While I developed my profession in software development, she worked as a marketing executive. Before everything broke apart last month, I believed that our marriage was going well. Our two children are Mike, 17M, a high school junior, and Jenny, 20F, a psychology major in her second year in college. Sarah joined a new gym approximately 4 months ago, which is when the issue began. She stated that she wished to lose weight before her 46th birthday. She stated that she would rather go alone in order to concentrate on herself, but I agreed with her choice and even offered to accompany her. I was initially pleased to see her taking care of herself. She began going to the gym more frequently, sometimes twice a day. I didn't question it because it appeared like she was happier and more lively. Then, however, things began to shift. She altered her haircut, bought brand new clothes, and spent all of her time on her phone. She would immediately switch apps or turn off her phone screen when I entered the room. She also said that her team had taken on a large project for a new customer, which caused them to start working late. She wouldn't always return home until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I didn't give it much thought because I had total faith in her. I even took care of the kids' needs so she could concentrate on her work and made sure dinner was ready for her when she got home. However, we had less sex. She always had an excuse for not wanting to get intimate, like she was exhausted, had a headache, or had to get up early. For nearly 3 months, we went from having personal moments 2 or 3 times a week to no one at all. I assumed she was under stress at work, so I didn't bring up the subject again. She texted me on a Friday night 3 weeks ago, stating that she needed to talk to me about something crucial. I assumed she wanted to discuss our forthcoming summer vacation plans, or that she had received the promotion she had been looking for. We had the home to ourselves because Mike was at football practice and Jenny was at her university library. Sarah wasn't by herself when she got home. She was accompanied by a tall, strong man who was most likely in his late 30s. Derek, 39 million, was his name when she introduced him. Sarah revealed to us that she was 3 months pregnant, and that Derek was the father as we sat down in the living room, the same space where we had celebrated our 20th anniversary 2 years prior. She claimed that they had a strong connection after meeting at the gym 8 months prior. She claimed that although she hadn't been content in our marriage for years, she had never had the guts to speak up. She said I didn't comprehend her emotional needs since I was too preoccupied with my work. With a smug expression on his face, Derek simply sat there, periodically massaging Sarah's back as though to console her. She clarified that they intended to begin a new life together after falling in love. She had spent the late evenings with him, not at work. They were meeting at the gym and going to his apartment, so it wasn't always just for working out. I thought I was in a strange nightmare. This woman, who had shed happy tears at Jenny's high school graduation, was the one who had helped me recover from pneumonia 3 years prior. She was seated in our house now, telling me that she was expecting a kid from another man. I told them both to get out right away. Things became ugly at that point. Derek got up and began shouting that since Sarah owned half the house, I couldn't throw her out. According to him, I had to man up and acknowledge that Sarah had moved on to someone better. I remained composed and informed them that they had to leave my house immediately because I would be filing for divorce early on Monday morning. Puffing up his chest like some phony macho person, Derek got in my face. Since he wouldn't allow me to interfere with his woman and his baby, he advised me to keep an eye on myself. I was uneasy about his tone, so I had already begun recording everything on my phone and partially concealed it behind a cushion on the couch. I said again that they had to go. Derek took a gun out of his waistband at that point. He pointed it right at my chest and threatened to make sure I felt bad if I attempted to make things tough on Sarah during the divorce. He claimed to be aware of my workplace, the children's school, and the fact that accidents happen all the time. Sarah remained silent as this man brandished a gun and threatened her husband of 22 years. She didn't act shocked that he was carrying a firearm, nor did she attempt to stop him. Her face was expressionless as she stared. I immediately phoned the police when they left and played the recording for them. Derek was taken into custody that evening for threatening to commit a crime while brandishing a lethal weapon. Sarah was also taken into custody for her involvement in the threat. The following day, they were both released on bail. Everything fell apart when the children noticed the police cruisers outside our house when they got home. When I told Jenny what had happened, she started crying. Mike secluded himself in his bedroom for 2 days after punching a hole in the wall. He only came out when I assured him that we would overcome this together. Both parents have been phoning constantly. Sarah informed her parents that I had been emotionally distant and that she felt stuck in our marriage, so they believe I'm being too severe and should drop the charges because she's pregnant and stressed. In contrast, my parents are enraged and want me to pursue every aspect of the divorce. I filed for divorce the following morning. According to my attorney, the tape will be very beneficial for the divorce and criminal case. Sarah has been phoning and messaging nonstop, accusing Derek of manipulating her and claiming she made a horrible error. She asserted that she would never wish to harm me and was unaware that he was armed. However, the footage reveals that she didn't appear startled or afraid when he produced the firearm. I've instructed her to contact us solely through our attorneys and blocked her number. The children won't talk to her. Jenny claims that she will never be able to forgive her mother for ruining our family. In addition to failing 2 classes, Mike's football coach called to report that he had been fighting during practice. We lost 22 years of marriage because she was unable to remain faithful. I glanced at our wedding pictures last night. We were quite joyful and youthful. I now have to go in court against her for the threats charged the following week. I have no regrets about bringing charges. In my own home, no one brandishes a pistol to threaten me, certainly not in front of the pictures of my kids that hang on the wall. First update. 2 weeks have passed since my last post. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone for their encouraging words and remarks. When I thought everything was crumbling, you kept me going. Let me now explain what has transpired since then. Last week was the hearing for the threat case. My lawyer and I got to the courthouse early. Derek and Sarah arrived together, both dressed as though they were attending church. Sarah kept attempting to get my attention, but I was preoccupied with my phone. Their attorney, a slick man in a fancy suit, attempted to portray me as an angry, domineering spouse who threatened to leave Sarah bankrupt and homeless. He asserted that Derek only displayed the firearm out of concern for Sarah's security. The recording was then played by my lawyer. Everything was audible, including Derek's threats to find out where my children attended school, and, most significantly, Sarah's total quiet while her lover brandished a gun to threaten her husband. Their features turned pale. The trial date was scheduled for next month by the clearly irate judge. Additionally, she issued a restraining order that mandates they both keep at least 500 feet away from me, my home, and my place of employment. I was mistaken to believe that would be the most significant change. My door was knocked on yesterday morning. A woman in her mid-30s was standing there holding a big folder when I opened it. She identified herself as Derek's wife, Amy, 36F. Yes, you read correctly. Derek is married and has 3 children, ages 9, 6, and 12. After reading about Derek's arrest in the local newspaper, Amy learned about Sarah and the pregnancy. She has been conducting her own research ever since, and the results are startling. She presented evidence that Derek had previously done this. He got acquainted with a woman at his former job 2 years ago, got her pregnant, and then vanished when she was 7 months pregnant. The mother was forced to return to her parents' house and raise the child by herself. Here's where it gets worse, though. Amy showed me text messages from months ago that were exchanged between Derek and Sarah. They were scheming, not only having an affair, to obtain the majority of my assets in the divorce. They had a full plan in place. The texts indicated that they believed Sarah would receive a larger payout if they could incite me to act violently or foolishly. The threat of a gun wasn't spontaneous, rather it was planned. Derek wrote the following in a message. I'll contribute when we inform him. I'll give him a small scare if he becomes hostile. In this manner, you will receive everything and he would know not to fight the divorce. Sarah answered, Great plan, sweetie. He will most likely cry because he is such a coward. I sent the DA's office and my attorney all of this proof. In addition to the current threats charge, the DA is now thinking of charging conspiracy. Sarah began phoning me nonstop after learning of the new proof, crying and saying she was unaware Derek was married. She said that he tricked her into agreeing to the entire scheme. The text messages, however, indicate otherwise. She was fully aware of his wife and children. As the other woman, she even made jokes about Amy being too stupid to notice her husband's affair. As Jenny searched Sarah's drawer for some old family photos, the situation became even more intriguing. I was unaware that she had discovered a second phone. It had communications from over a year ago. Before revealing their pregnancy, Sarah and Derek had been preparing for this for months. Because they believed that I wouldn't fight back as hard if there was a baby involved, they purposely waited until she was showing before telling me. The effect on our children has been catastrophic. Except for school, Mike still hardly ever leaves his room. His football coach called to report that he has been watching from the stands throughout practices, and he has now failed 3 classes. Jenny is constantly upset. She texted Sarah to let her know she was dead to her and that she would never want to see her again. "You'll understand when you're older and fall in love," was the straightforward message Sarah wrote back. I provided copies of the text messages to Sarah's parents, who then came to my house. They were appalled. In my living room, her father, who had been arguing for her behavior and pleading with me to dismiss the charges, started crying. He insisted that he didn't bring up his daughter to be like Qley. They no longer answer her calls either. According to my attorney, Sarah won't receive anything in the divorce because of this new information. She will lose the property division because of the deliberate nature of their scheme and the conspiracy to scare me. But in all honesty, I simply want her out of our lives and don't care about the money anymore. I'm not married to the woman in those text messages. She is a stranger who sat in our bed and ate meals with our family for months, planning how to ruin me. Yesterday, Jenny inquired if I ever had any suspicions. In actuality, I didn't. I had total faith in Sarah. I never imagined that she would do this, even while she was working late, going to the gym twice a day, and no longer wanting to be intimate. After 22 years of marriage, I never once asked her late at night or checked her phone. I now see that she called me a stupid for having faith in her and laughed at my trust in her partner. Second update. My last update was 1 month ago. Things have taken a number of unexpected turns since the divorce proceedings began last week. Since what has transpired is so amazing, I must share it. Sarah tried to play victim at the start of the divorce court. She said that Derek had forced and persuaded her into taking part in their plan. In a tearful account, her attorney described how Derek used her loneliness as a weak woman, stuck in an emotionally distant marriage. She also called a co-worker to testify about how she used to cry about our allegedly tumultuous marriage in the break room. However, following the events of the criminal trial, her act utterly collapsed. Derek chose to accept a plea bargain since he was facing severe jail time for the gun threat. If he testified about their conspiracy, the DA offered him a restraining order and 2 years of probation. He accepted the offer, and everything changed when he came clean in court. Derek threw Sarah under the bus during his plea hearing. He acknowledged that she had come up with the entire plan from the beginning. She knew he was a successful real estate agent from his social media and had seen him at the gym. Instead of going the other way, she went to him. He testified that she had checked his Facebook profile and seen photos of his family, so she knew he was married from the start. Derek claims that Sarah told him she wanted to leave me because she was unhappy in her marriage, but she wanted to make sure she received the highest settlement possible. She specifically picked him since he had a concealed carry permit and an imposing appearance. She came up with the threat of a pistol. She believed that when I invariably reacted aggressively to threats, it would demonstrate my abuse. When the paternity test results were revealed in court, however, it was the biggest shock. Derek is not the father, but Sarah is unquestionably pregnant. Her personal trainer, a 25-year-old man called Chad, is the owner of the child. It seems that she was having an affair with Chad at the gym while she was hatching plans with Derek. Derek lost it all when this information was revealed in court. He began to yell that she had damaged his marriage for no reason at all. He believed that she would divorce me, seize half of my possessions, and then wed him. He was furious to learn that she had been sleeping with someone else the whole time. He had to be taken out of the courtroom by the bailiffs. Chad was subpoenaed and appeared to testify. He was unaware of Sarah's marriage. She informed him that she was divorced and that her father was the parent of her 2 grown children. She even introduced Jenny and Mike as her niece and nephew while they were at the gym. In the court correspondence, Chad displayed Sarah's invitation to move in with him following the completion of her divorce from her abusive ex-husband. What little credibility Sarah still had was shattered by this revelation. Her own attorney seems repulsed. After the court declared a recess, Sarah completely lost it when we got back. The judge was unimpressed as she began to scream about how everyone was against her and that she was just trying to find happiness. Sarah's career has collapsed in the interim. When her firm reported the court cases via a background check for a promotion, it discovered the conspiracy and the criminal charges. Because of their zero-tolerance policy for unethical activity, they fired her right away. The tale has gone viral in our professional network, and she hasn't been able to find another marketing job. Since she is unable to pay for an apartment, she has now moved in with her sister. Sarah continued attempting to get in touch with the children, sending lengthy emails expressing her regret and pleading for their support throughout her pregnancy. Mike still won't even acknowledge her existence. Jenny replied once, telling her, "I hope the baby grows up to betray you, just like you betrayed us." The fact that Mike has now resumed speaking is a good development. Although he continues to receive poor grades, he is improving and attending twice-weekly therapy sessions. We're working on appropriate ways for him to vent his frustrations, and the therapist thinks that his anger management problems are normal given the situation. Now that the judge has seen all the evidence, the text messages plotting the conspiracy, the paternity test demonstrating she lied about Derek being the father, and the testimony on her numerous affairs, the divorce proceedings are advancing swiftly. According to my lawyer, we should be done in about a month. I received a call from Sarah's sister yesterday alerting me to the fact that Sarah is not handling this well. Despite being pregnant, she has been drinking a lot and complaining about how everyone has failed her when she most needs them. Until I recalled those texts in which she made fun of using Derek's gun to intimidate me, I was on the verge of feeling terrible for her. Third update. I can finally declare that my nightmare is gone, as it started 6 months ago. Last month, the divorce was finalized. The judge gave me Mike's primary custody in the house. Since Jenny is an adult, custody was not a concern. Sarah only received her car and personal items. The judge explained the uneven division by pointing to her many deceptions and conspiracy with Derek. Sarah's entire existence has collapsed. Complications caused her to lose the baby at 5 months. Despite everyone's warnings, her sister admitted to me that she had been drinking excessively during her pregnancy. The real father and personal trainer, Chad, is opposed to her. He left his work at the gym and relocated to a different city after discovering her falsehoods and the plot with Derek. After their divorce, Derek's wife Amy was granted full custody of their children. Due to the criminal allegations, he lost his real estate license and relocated to Arizona. As far as I know, he works as a bartender and tells everyone he meets how Sarah destroyed his life. Last week, Sarah's downward spiral reached its lowest point. She arrived at our house at 2 a.m, utterly inebriated, and yelled in the driveway that she had lost everything due to one mistake. She insisted that she would stop at nothing to make things right and return home. Before I could, the neighbors phoned the police. She was jailed for 2 days for violating the restraining order. Sarah needed to face repercussions for the first time in her life, according to her sister, who declined to save her. The children are at last improving. Jenny has returned to college and is seeing the campus counselor on a regular basis. She claims that joining a support group for kids of divorced parents is assisting her in processing everything. Mike is back on the football team and his grades have improved to B's and C's. His therapist claims that since he has acquired some coping skills, his anger management problems have much improved. Through all of this, Sarah's parents have shown surprisingly strong support. They have severed all communication with Sarah, but they have kept up a relationship with the children. Like she used to do when Sarah and I were first married, her mom comes over every Sunday to prepare dinner for us. On some weekends, her dad takes Mike fishing and helps him repair the hole he punched in his bedroom wall. I've begun dating a person I met via a common friend. 3 years ago, Lisa, a 43-year-old high school teacher, went through her own divorce. We are moving extremely slowly. Since she tutored Mike in English and improved his grade, the youngsters who met her last month appear to like her. She is considerate of our circumstances and doesn't demand more than I am willing to provide. Yesterday, Sarah gave me a call from a new number. She claimed to be going to AA meetings and had been sober for 2 weeks. She asked if I might think about giving her another chance. I blocked the number and hung up without answering. There are some betrayals from which you simply cannot recover. We're getting over it, but the kids are still dealing with it. Last week, Jenny expressed her pride in my handling of the situation, saying that I stood by them and refused to allow Sarah to reestablish her influence over us. When he turned 18, Mike requested if he could adopt my last name. He declared that he no longer desired any relationship with Sarah. Even though life isn't flawless, we're making progress. Sarah must now live with the decision she made. I don't regret the way I handled the situation. Showing your children that it's acceptable to take toxic people out of your life, even if that person is their mother, can be the most difficult aspect of being a parent. I'm genuinely looking forward to the future for the first time in months as we create a new normal. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.